Hello everyone and welcome to Harv's World for episode 11 of Ischia Farm. I would like to welcome Wooly, Corey Gray, Thomas Jefferson, AF5VP Robert, T-Man 87, Norman Aragon, and Stephen Jordan to the channel. Thank you, new subscribers. I always appreciate you and I'm happy to have you along for the ride. Well, it's another glorious day in Italy. We've got fair weather, no more rain. Our recession is still horribly taken hold, but I just had to run over to the shop. I needed liquid fertilizer. We do not have anything on the farm to provide that for us, so that was going to be a necessity, one that I couldn't get around. And as I mentioned the last time, well, our new red grape field is ready to harvest. Now, we are not going to sit through every one of these red grapes, but I am really curious to find out exactly how much we're going to get off this field. Very curious. In fact, this is a big red grape harvest day because, well, our other red grape field, you know, the one that Mrs. Van Horn was so adamant about, well, that field is also ready to harvest. So there is a lot of red grapes coming in today. I'm very intrigued to find out exactly where we're going to end up with those. So at this point, I'm just going to get these harvesters working, and then I need to get over to the lower fields, check on our pigs, and see where we're at. Let's take a look here. This is field 22 grapes. That's exactly what I want. I'm going to line this guy up on this. Have him start at the nearest waypoint. Drive course, and he should brilliantly move right down that row. Excellent. Now I've got my other grape harvester down here also. That is not it. No, this is it. Bring this guy about midway down. Maybe a little bit more than midway. Do the same thing. 22 grapes. And I actually need to see. That looks about right. Just about right there. Yep. That'll work. That will work. Okay. Just turn those off because that's annoying after a while. We'll start at the nearest waypoint. And drive, harvester. Drive like the wind. And I'm lost. I got lost in my own grape field. And you can see I've got my grape trailers already parked down here because this is going to be a lot of hauling grapes back and forth. Not as convenient as our white grapes that are all the way, are right next to our silo. So going to be a lot of bopping back and forth. But for now, I just want to get back over. I've got equipment spread out all over creation. Let me tell you. And that's not a street, that is a driveway. Well, I'll tell you, one thing I know for sure. I am tired. I have to warn you right now. This might not be the quite the upbeat Harv you all have gotten used to. Not that I'm in a bad mood or anything, just my job search is continuing and I have picked up some extra work with my uncle who remarkably actually restores and works on old tractors. We were working on an Alice Chalmers today, and so I've been doing that for the last few days and haven't had time to do much else, if I'm honest. And frankly, it's not an easy job. There's a lot of hard work involved, so it is what it is. Okay, so Once again, we are out of canola. I have processed all of this. Still got about 24,000 liters of pig food. But if you'll notice, our piggies are up to 165. So we've gone from 100 to 165 in a pretty short amount of time. We're not too far from making a sale. And they need more straw. And brilliantly, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I harvested three different fields that had crops that would produce straw, and I didn't pick up a lick of it. It all got shredded. So I need to produce some straw. That's one thing. But the pigs aren't in horrible shape for food. They're not great, but I do need to get more pig food working for us. And I can drop off that other 24,000 liters at some point. I did, however, plant more canola in this field. This is probably going to be pretty much a permanent canola field. And you can see I've got all my equipment down here because a lot of work needs to get done on the fields down here. I've got those 3 new fields, and actually we should check on those too, because I've got the almonds growing, if you remember. I'd like to see how those are getting on. I did get the sugar beets harvested, so at this point I have got over 200,000 liters of sugar beets in the silo, so we should be good there for pig food for a while. It's just the canola. I cannot keep the oil grains coming. And you can see our almond trees are actually doing quite nicely here. Growing quite well. A few more days we could harvest some almonds for the Van Horns to use when they host wine tastings and whatnot. We wouldn't want to deny them that. And I want to take a look at this field, these fields down here, and just see where we stand. I'm actually rather surprised. I thought we would need some plowing down here, but no. No, we're good to go. All I want to do is merge these things. Turn this into one big field. And then we're going to sort out, what are we going to do? That's the question of the day. So I'm just going to edge this off right here. Like so. And what's nice about these fields is they're planted so close together that merging them is literally just one quick pass. And this is one of the prettier parts of the whole island is actually very, very nice. This map is lovely to look at. But I really like the coastal area. And maybe that's just a thing with me, but I do like the ocean. I have had the good fortune to actually swim in both of the oceans off the coast of the United States, Atlantic and Pacific. But yeah, merging these fields is not going to take long at all. Minutes, seconds. Although I do have to keep an eye on those grape harvesters. They'll let me know when they're ready though. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, back to the grand field merger here. And this should make a very, very nice sized field. This is going to be a very big field. And I'm trying to decide what's going to be just the perfect crop for it. I'm a little bit, because I need straw, I'm tempted to find out if sorghum straw will do the trick. If I can use sorghum straw for my pigs. I'm not entirely sure if that's possible. Because that is actually a crop that I have never seen anywhere but on this particular map. It was planted when we first got here, and I haven't pursued it since then, so might be a good idea to try that. So there we go. That was a quick and easy merger. It's one thing that I like about these fields down here is it's really super easy to get them merged together. Yep, I think I'll do that. I think I will go with the sorghum. Oops. That was not what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do. Get our new planter over here. See if I can get it filled up. Okay. Go deal with these grape harvesters for a minute. Yep, I think sorghum is the crop of the day. And something I've been realizing is that I've kind of gotten off the world tour track a little bit. What I mean by that is, you know, the whole idea behind the Harv's World Tour, coming to Italy, is that, you know, we learn something about different countries, different cultures, things like that, and I haven't really talked about that much lately. And barring any unfortunate intrusions by one Mrs. Van Horn, I'd like to get back to that a little bit during this episode, although my grape harvesters are being a bit of a nuisance today, I have to tell you. I really have to tell you that. And no, you need to stay unfolded. Very good. Alright. I don't want that offset. I just want to set A to 180 because we are headed south. That ought to do it. Fire this bad boy up. Drop it down, turn on GPS, and let's start planting some sorghum. So, in my opinion, I think we could all use a little vacation. What do you think? I mean, with everything going on in the world right now, I think a vacation sounds like the perfect thing. And unfortunately, even vacations are a huge hassle right now simply because of so much turmoil in the world thanks to this pandemic, and God only knows what else is going on in numerous other places. But you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Ooh. That got a big swing to it. So, with that said, I was thinking about virtual vacations. You know, and not even just, well, I mean, maybe you get online, maybe you know, do whatever it is you need to do to create your virtual vacation. But the point being, maybe you just, I don't know, maybe you just lay back, close your eyes, and imagine you're somewhere else. And of course, one of those places could be Italy, which would be fantastic. Beautiful country. And then that got me thinking, well, if you wanted to go to Italy, be it on vacation, virtual vacation, whatever, what city would you like to go to? Which got me thinking about Ischia. And so I started looking up some more information about different cities in Italy, and I'm curious, if you were to go to Italy, where would you want to go? Now, Ischia is a beautiful place, and one of the interesting things about it in real life is that it is a volcanic island, and people have been coming here for a long, long time because the waters, and then there's lots of hot springs and everything here. But you know, one of the things they keep coming here for is because the waters are supposedly have healing and rejuvenative properties, which is pretty darn cool. So that would be nice. Hit some hot springs, just go relax. And I guess Ischia also has a really, really remarkable botanical garden if you're into plants and flowers and things like that. But there's also a medieval castle on the island, which would be exceptionally cool to see, in my opinion. Then, of course, there's always Venice. Venice is one of the places that people, I think, most often associate, or that people associate most with Italy, just because it's such a unique city. You know, built over water. It has all of the canals, the Piazza San Marco. It's very interesting. In fact, that's one place that I think would absolutely be fascinating. Mostly just because it's, like I said, it is very, very unique. And of course, you know, it's got museums, lots of palaces, churches. Saint Mark's Basilica is one of the more famous churches there. Um, and of course the canals. I mean, how could you go to Venice and not take a ride in one of the boats on the canals? You have to. You just absolutely have to. No getting around it. And you know, just imagine all the fantastic Italian food you would get to partake of. We've talked on many occasions about the great food in Italy. Is there anybody out there who doesn't like Italian food? Honestly. And that's not a judgment. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But I'd just be surprised if that was the case. Like if somebody's just like, yeah, I can take or leave Italian. I don't know. For me, it's almost a staple. Nice big plate of spaghetti. I mean, and if you say you don't like Italian food, does that mean you don't like pizza? Is it possible there's someone in the world who doesn't like pizza? I have a hard time imagining that, if I'm completely honest. And I'd always try to be completely honest, so there you have it. Yeah, so where would you go? If you had this, either a little mental vacation, or if you could actually go to Italy. You know, one of the places I think, you know, that we often associate with the rich and famous and all of that kind of thing is the Isle of Capri. You know, Ischia is a beautiful island, but for some reason Capri gets all of the kudos, all of the attention. And, if I'm honest, it's not that far away from Ischia. I mean, it's in the Bay of Naples, which Ischia is also. So it's not like you'd have to miss out on one or the other. You could actually do both. And both places are absolutely gorgeous from the water. From what I've been told, from what I've seen, Capri especially, some of the best sights you'll get is from the water. Now, this is one of the downsides to these small fields down here by the coast. There ain't much working room. I should have done some Headland Passes, I suppose, before I started doing this. And I suppose I still could, but why do it the easy way? Oh, screw it. I'm doing the headlands. This is becoming just a little bit too tedious, trying to back this thing around. Just touch up a couple quick spots right through here. And we'll just cruise on down the headlands. Give us some more working room. This way I should just be able to turn around when I come to the end and not have to worry about it. And, like I was saying, the rich and famous go to Capri. It's very much associated. And because of that, it's got tons of world-class restaurants and 5-star hotels and precious little chic shops where the rich and famous can get all of their goodies. But yeah, it would still be a beautiful place to visit. Probably even better if you were, living on the Hollywood dime. Alright, knock out this end row. Now, one place that you could go, and I guess from what I've been told, a place that people often go when they don't want the crowds, because the cities in Italy, I guess, are very crowded. So be prepared for crowds if you ever go. But one place you can go to kind of avoid that is Tuscany. And of course, I think over the past few years, there was a movie called Under the Tuscan Sun, and I think that really turned Tuscany into like this romantic escape for a lot of people, which is fine. I mean, that's cool if that's your thing. Absolutely go for it. But it's more of a wide open countryside. Beautiful rolling hills, just absolutely gorgeous to look at. And one of the things that's actually really, really cool to kind of think about is, and I'm a bit of a medieval geek, I will admit that. I own it. I have no problem owning that. But apparently Tuscany has like a bunch of medieval castles that have been turned into wineries. So that's kind of a cool concept. It would be pretty darn nifty. Now, I'm not the biggest wine drinker on the planet. I will be the first one to admit that. But I could be convinced to drink a glass of wine if it was in the middle of a medieval courtyard somewhere. But that's just me. And since we're on the topic of Tuscany, well, one of the main romantic cities in Tuscany is Florence, which is a beautiful city, actually. And it's been, how do I phrase this? Historically significant. That's what I'm looking for. If you know anything about the Medicis, they were from Florence. And I'm not going to give you a whole lecture about the Medicis, partly because, well, I don't know as much about them as I would like, and two, you probably don't want to know that anyway, if I'm completely fair. But Florence is a very historic city, and apparently it is just littered with Renaissance art and amazing sunsets. You can see some really fantastic, I mean, not that you can't see great sunsets anywhere, but Florence in particular apparently has some exceptional sunsets. So yeah, I think Florence would be a fantastic place to visit. An exceptionally nice place to visit. And then, of course, there's Rome. Now, one thing that I know about Rome is, first of all, there was a great series on HBO called Rome, and I strongly recommend it. It was only 2 seasons, and it was about Julius Caesar, the rise and fall, etc., etc. But very fascinating, very, very well done series. And 2, I know that one of my subscribers has actually been to Rome and plans to return at some point, which is absolutely fascinating. Rusty, a very well-traveled man, very knowledgeable, and has been a great supporter of the channel. Has had the opportunity to travel to Italy quite frequently, and it's always interesting to read the comments sometimes on these episodes, because he loves to regale us with some of what he's done, and it's absolutely fantastic just hearing about it. So thank you for that, Rusty. I really appreciate your knowledge and insight into these topics. And, Rome is a place where there's so much there. Just so much in Rome that you'd have a hard time taking it all in. Yeah, so Rome. And like I was saying, the Vatican, there's so much left over in Rome from the history. I mean, we were talking about Rome, the HBO series, but from that time period in Rome, you can still see things like the Roman Forum and the Pantheon, and of course the Colosseum. And that's just scratching the surface. I mean, literally just scratching the surface of everything there is to see. And one thing that's interesting about Rome is, I don't know if you know anything about Michelin scoring for restaurants and stuff like that. I've never been to a Michelin starred restaurant, not to be mistaken with tires. But Rome does have quite a few, apparently, Michelin starred restaurants, and 1 3-star restaurant, which is like the pinnacle of greatness for a restaurant. Like, if you were a chef and you could go burn down a restaurant to get a 3-star Michelin rating, you would do it. That's how important it is to the food world. And from what I hear about Rome, it's got, I don't know how to phrase this exactly, but I guess people who visit Rome kind of get this magical vibe about it. And this is just what I've heard. There's just something about being in Rome that they find, I don't know, inspiring, or I don't know. I mean, unless you've been there, maybe Rusty could fill us in on that particular aspect of visiting Rome. Is there a magical aura about that city? It is one of the oldest cities in the world. Something else that I've noticed since this recession kicked in, by the way, is that fertilizer and seed prices have kind of gone through the roof also, I have to tell you. I was getting a really good deal. I had kind of brokered a deal with the local supplier so that prices were very, very good, but now, because of this recession, those good prices are no more. So no more discount seed or fertilizer. But we will get that $2 million loan paid off. In fact, if we take a quick look here, you can see, I don't know why I had to scroll down to see that, but I did. I did pay off another $300,000. That's why we're so low on cash right now at only $30,000 operating money, because I did manage to get $300,000 on that loan. So we're down to $1.7 million. Down from 2.5. So that's pretty darn good. That's $800,000. We're not halfway yet. Man, we're making headway. And luckily I did have some spare money left over from just before the recession hit. I managed to get a big grape sale taken care of before the recession kicked in, but that money's gone now, so we are operating on whatever we can eke out during these difficult financial times, which is one of the reasons I'm fairly curious to find out exactly how much red grapes we're going to get today. Yeah, so this is field 21. So we got 21 and 22. No alfalfa. Although I could probably have it down here by the port and she'd never know the difference, but why risk it? Well, let's look at our crop prices and just see what might be a good option down here. Nope, nope. Where's that? Okay, protein peas. Yeah, they're not very good. Sorghum's not that great either. Grapes are sitting quite nicely right at the moment, but they are starting to fall off. Haven't done soybeans yet. Maybe that's a good choice. Those are sitting pretty high. Yep, that's the ticket. Soybeans it is. And we're going to start with Headland Passes because, well, this is really, really tight along the edges, let me tell you. especially down here. And yes, I realize that's my fault. I really stretched out this field, but it is what it is. And yep, I realize I need to go unload that grape planter. Or grape planter, grape harvester. Although with all these grape fields, man, if they ever come due at the, well, it doesn't matter. They'll get harvested when they get harvested. Well, that's not the prettiest planting job I've ever done, but hey, what's important is it's done. So we've got sorghum in the lower fields. We have got soybeans up or over here by the port, and even better news, our new red grape field has been completely harvested. In fact, I'm just going to park the Fent right here and go grab the Deutzfahr because it's got the last of the red grapes in it. Run those up to the silo and we're going to see exactly how much we finally got off of this field. As long as I don't run into this car. And I'm going to borrow this farmer's grass field because I can. And nobody's looking. At least I don't think they are. I did pack up the other, or the grape harvesters already, and they are already up at the second red grape field, ready to get started. We are going to have a ton of red grapes, and these are probably going to come in at the same time all the time, which means tomorrow is probably going to be a white grape harvest. I think we're going to be doing grapes just about every day from now on. But that could change, because I have a plan. And it might slow down grapes just a smidge. Not much, but a smidge. We'll see. Depends on whether that plan comes to fruition or not, whether I can actually make that happen. I think I can. Pretty sure I can. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to drop off both these trailers. And I want to run this tractor down to the pigs. Because this day is moving right along. I'm not going to have daylight for too much longer. Well, I guess it's only 3 o'clock, so we'll be good for a while yet. But I've got a lot of equipment down here too that I'm going to have to get sorted and moved around. So, how much red grapes did we end up with? 110,595. That is pretty darn outstanding, let me tell you. That is fantastic. Not too shabby. Field 22 is doing us quite nicely. Quite nicely indeed. And man, these pigs are slobs. Messy eaters, each and every one. And this bucket does not like scooping up this pig feed. I don't know what it is. Look at that. I mean, I'm tipped up off the ground. Anybody got any tips on how to make this bucket work better? I'm all freaking ears, man. Maybe I'm just not angling it right. I'm sure it's operator error. Look at that. They dumped 1,000 liters of pig food on the ground. Might have to do something about these pigs, or about this pig feeding area, because, well, it's almost a full-time job just keeping up with this mess. Alright. And during all that, we've had 5 more pigs, so we are up to 170. Those pigs are going to do us exceptionally well. Exceptionally well indeed. And one last thing I'm going to check on. Now I am going to get those red grapes hauled up to the cellar. Make sure the Van Horns have exactly what they need, but I also want to make sure that Mrs. Van Horn's precious sunflowers are doing quite nicely. And yes, I do believe that tractors are off-road vehicles. Like, for fun. Get where you need to go as quickly as you can by going over whatever terrain is available. There we go. Yeah, I think those sunflowers are coming in quite nicely. Look at that. Very nice. Very nice indeed. So, with that said, much equipment needing to be cleaned, and a whole bunch more red grapes yet to be harvested. I think that's going to do it for this episode of Ischia Farm. If you enjoyed the episode, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. Feel free to share this video. And as well, I do appreciate you coming along for the ride. And until next time, take care.